All right. Hello, everyone. We are live. How you doing today? Welcome to the Fivers Futures live trading session. This is going to be another interesting and fun one as usual. I will have Mr. Steve Tellman joining me in a few, and we're going to talk about what is going on today. We have a lot going on today. We have the Fed meeting and the interest rate decision today around 2 p.m. We also have a bunch of earnings, a lot of earnings later after the close. So it's going to be interesting to see how these markets behave. And I was looking at gold this morning, gold showing interesting setups. So we're going to get into that in a few. But in the meantime, let me know how you're doing. Let me know where you're watching us from. I'm going to call you Peter. Welcome back. Welcome back to the chat. Glad to see you again. And let's see what we can get into today. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I just want to make sure that everything is good. And let's get this show going. All right, so we're going to take a quick look, zoom back out. So gold is looking interesting. I was looking at this area for an area of as an area of interest to possibly go short. It seems like the short is already on. As you know, I like to take my trades on stream so you guys could see. So we're going to let this move a little bit before the open and we'll see what we can get. But so far, this is looking like a pretty good setup to me. Let me get some trend lines going there. And this was prior support. So right now, what we're looking for is maybe a retest of this area, and we could possibly try and take a short. Why? Because, well, we are at the 45.68 level, and the 4,500 level seems like a very, very interesting target that we could possibly reach today or in the coming days. So looking for a retest into this area and maybe a curl back down. So we'll see if we could get that, or maybe a quick rejection lower. If we can get that in gold, even though I'm not a huge gold trader, that would be an interesting setup. Now we need to be aware that we had prior support here, so this might also be a liquidity sweep and a reversion back to the upside. So we'll keep that in mind for the trading session today. All right, guys, remember to like, remember to subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and let me know where you're looking at us from. Where are you looking? Where are you located? What are you trading? What do you want me to look at? Let me know. We are here for you. So don't be shy. Let me know in the chat. I like when you guys write in the chat and let me know that you're looking. All right, so let's do our regular trip. Let's take a look at the indices. We're gonna take a first look at the Nasdaq first of all. So if we zoom out, as we know, we have been climbing up, started pulling back a little bit this week. Let me turn off my volume profile here. So this is a weekly chart, right? And prior all-time highs was here, 26,862 more or less, give or take. And right so far we've done, you know, a small little pullback here, a healthy pullback at the beginning of the week. Yesterday we caught the short. I'll show you guys which short we caught, which was a pretty nice setup that we caught live on stream with Jane. If you didn't see it, you could go back, watch yesterday's stream, and you will see this setup. We called it out, took it, and I think I'm gonna make a video about that because it was a pretty good setup. So I'll showcase how we took that. So right now we are pulling back a little bit on the weeklies. Let's drop down to a daily chart. So same thing, pulling back on the day. So if we continue this pullback, my first target, at least in the next coming days, would be prior all-time highs. So small pullback here to the 26,800s, more or less. Now, what might happen is we might get a muted session before the Fed meeting, and then get some fireworks during the meeting, and finally get our direction maybe an hour or so after the meeting. So we'll see what goes on there, and we'll see. All right, we got. I like your name. Stop loss. Discipline is key when trading all-time highs. Excited to learn and hopefully win a challenge account. All right. You're from Vietnam. Nice, nice, nice. Awesome. Welcome to the show. So let's see. Discipline is key indeed when we're trading all-time highs. And like I've mentioned, when we are trading all-time highs, you have to keep an open mind. A lot of people have a tendency to want to short all-time highs, but guess what? It's not always the best idea. If you're approaching your trading, you always have to have the various scenarios in mind. That's why I always show the bearish case, the bullish case, and the neutral case. This way you approach it knowing that, okay, we might go in either direction, and you're prepared to take trades in either direction. All right, guys. So looking here, like we said yesterday, we had that pullback in the equities market, specifically in Nasdaq. We've recovered quite well. We've retested these wicks, which were prior support. We know technical analysis, support become resistance. So we got some resistance here on the hourlies, and we're showing a slight pullback there. So if we zoom back in on the 5-minute chart, what I'm looking at right now is this area here. Okay, you see my trend lines here, and yesterday we recovered from this area. Now this area becomes this target right there on the short side, right? So we're talking about 27,100, give or take. So what we want to find out is, okay, what are we going to do once we open? Are we going to kind of break out and go test the upper end of the range, or are we going to move to the lower end of the range? We are not 100% sure what's going to go there, but we'll see. Now, I hear a doorbell ringing. That means I have somebody at the door. And drum roll, please. Mr. Steve Tellman is here.
Hey, good morning, Dave. Sorry I sauntered into an empty room. It was like double time. Glad I found the right place. How you doing, brother?
Nice. Doing good, doing good. How about yourself?
Oh, no complaints here. I'm awful chipper this morning, so I'm feeling good. I think we're gonna have a good little stream here going on.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. I hope so. I was saying today is an interesting day, and I want to get your opinion on it as usual. We have a ton of earnings, and you're you're into the stock market, so I want to see your comments there. And then we have our big Fed rate decision going on later today, so I want to see what your opinion is there. All right, let me screen.
It's gonna be a spicy one, Dave. Honestly, I'm taking things real slow here, just watching what we do this morning. Probably not gonna be trading too actively, just because, like you said, we have all of this volatility coming in the second half
Indeed.
of the day, especially after hours with all these earnings. So it's just going to be, for me, a really good day to kind of collect some data points and see how the market is feeling going into these big prints, and obviously how we digest whatever we do get around the corner from Powell there. So it's
Yep.
it's it's going to be a spicy one, but usually on days like this, I like trading the reaction to the news that comes out and not preempting that news and maybe getting caught up in some chop.
Indeed, indeed. I agree with you there. I think we should expect some chop. I don't know. I'm hoping for some solid moves, maybe right after the open. Hopefully, we could get a little bit of action up or down. But apart from that, I agree totally with you that on those days you kind of want to be hands off and watch what the market does before diving with both feet there. So so
Absolutely.
we'll see, we'll see. Let me add you to the scene here. All
Sweet.
right.
And I'm getting my black arrow up just in case we do see a good setup and
Yes,
have the
indeed.
pullback.
Rub those hands. Get ready. I had a great setup yesterday with Jane, and we took it live. It was an awesome short, and I'll go over it in a few. So
Awesome.
if we could find something this clean, it would be great today. I've been looking at gold, and I think gold is showing something interesting here. Actually, maybe I'll show it to you real quick, and then we'll switch to your screen so
Mhm.
we can we can see what you're thinking. But yesterday was a little bit choppy, and then we recovered this. So as usual, a bunch of arrows there. We had different scenarios. Finally, the red, the short one played out.
Mhm.
But what I'm seeing, let me just go maybe on a 30-minute, is I'm especially thinking about you
Yeah.
because of your how do you call it again? It's not bottom break setup.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah. So, we had those bottoms yesterday. We kind of pulled up, moved sideways, and went back down. Now we've formed this little trend going lower,
Mhm.
and we, in my opinion, can go and target those 4500s. I don't know if it'll happen today, but I think there's a pretty good amount of leg room there. The 4491 was a prior weekly close. I have this level marked out. So if those bottoms give out, I think we could get a pretty good setup. So what I'm looking for is maybe sort of a retest of the upper end of this bottom here, maybe retest these wicks or maybe the upper end of this trend, and then a move down. Now, of course, we could recover, but this is looking like, and I'm not a big gold trader, but this is looking interesting to me. I don't know
I
what's
I
your
mean, I
opinion
like
there.
this. I think that your eyes are in the right place here for this kind of it looks really weak, doesn't it, into this kind of neckline here. What I will say is that I do have a big level here. This is a weekly trigger for me, and it's the 418 level. So I'm considering kind of 418 to 420. If I go to my 15-minute chart here, I'm sorry, let's go to the daily chart here. A little messy, but the important part is that we have this rising stair-stepping support that should represent roughly where big buyers are considering making a purchase. Doesn't mean they have to hold, but it's where they would like to probably step in roughly. So a few things of note for me, Dave, here is that we have this high volume node. I'm going to draw that out just like that. And we've kind of undercut it here. And now we're trading
Hmm.
into this in theory, good support. We still are within this kind of monthly structure here. As long as we're over 400, I want to be looking for a higher low to buy long term. But I would be totally happy with a continuation flush here, and then maybe we just have a nice move overnight or something to kind of reclaim that level. So I will be a buyer if gold can reclaim 17 to 18. But until then, I think that you could see a pretty good washout where I would be probably looking for that 410 where a lot of volumes come in, the 409.28 in particular. Either that
Hmm.
or a pull down to that 400 proper if we really get down, maybe 403. What do you think about that?
I agree with you. I agree. I think longer term, I've been talking about how we could oscillate lower and find kind of better prices. Let me zoom out a little bit and I'll show you. And I agree with your analysis there. Let me just switch to my screen really quick and
Yeah.
show you what I have. So longer term, in the dailies and looking at it, it's good that you're looking at it differently than I am. I'm not really using moving averages and things like
Mhm.
that. Not that I don't believe in them, but
Yeah. Teach.
everybody has their methods, but I definitely think that there is room to kind of move lower and go capture some of that liquidity over there where we had that wick that would correspond to maybe the 4300s. And of course this is in a few days, not that it's going to happen today for anybody who's watching. And the key level that I mentioned here is that prior top that we had back in October, which is where I'm targeting for today. I think that we could possibly move and go towards those 4,500s today
Mhm.
and continue to push lower. Because if you look, um, you know, basically based on these trend lines there, the kind of action I'm looking for is continuation here, and then we consolidate inside of this range
Yeah.
and eventually, revert back to the upside. Now, how long will this last? Will it be months? Will it be weeks? Will it be years? I don't know. Hopefully not years.
Yeah.
But yeah, we agree there that I think we need to kind of push lower, capture liquidity, get the better pricing, and before we revert back up. Now, it's all going to depend on these earnings, what the Fed decides, what's going on around the world,
Mhm.
what our president tweets. But for the short term, I think a move lower is the direction we might get.
No, Dave, the more I think about it, I do think that you're onto something there. If I pull up a little weekly action, it's it still has time. You see my line's a little bit more aggressive than yours there, and I think that
Yeah,
maybe
you're very optimistic.
I'm pretty optimistic. And yeah, this one's drawn a couple weeks ago too, where I thought maybe we'd do a quick wick down to this level and then catch really strongly. To me, I do agree with your assessment that it's looking heavier and probably needs more time to play out. So we could be talking. I think you said, yeah, pushing down, then reaccumulate, and then eventually,
Eventually, yeah,
yeah,
eventually
pushing
going
up
up.
here. And I do think that that's quite a valid possibility. So how I look at things like this are it has one really good bottom here. So
Hmm.
either we do high or low,
Yeah,
and then we can push up. But if it's still looking weak here and it's just knifing through this really big level, well, then maybe that's a sign. Maybe it's not ready. It needs to make a new low, fill out this flag better that we've been talking about, maybe even more aggressive like that. And this would really terrify a lot of people to lose the 4,000 level. But if that's the kind of liquidity reach that they need to then rip it back up to our what is it, weekly trigger, the 4,500 level, let's call it, then we could kind of put that as the final low, then put a higher low in off of that, and then take off to the races.
yeah.
So I think that it's probably wise to not push this trade, not rush this trade into the long side until it reclaims this level and really proves that it's a higher low. And yeah, I'm not seeing it. So I like the short. I like the fade.
And indeed, and if you're since we're on your screen here, if you zoom out a little bit on that contract, if you're yeah, you could look at it on a monthly even. This has been a huge and long run up. So
Hmm.
we're talking
Pretty long.
multiple. What is it? I mean, don't zoom out too much.
You don't want to see the most beautiful cup and handle ever?
Oh man, yeah.
Isn't it
This
gorgeous?
is
All right.
this
I'll go
is
back.
this is this is huge. So I think we need to definitely digest at least the prior year's move, thinking
Mhm.
beginning of 2025. If you're counting the whole year, 6 months of price digestion is warranted,
Yeah, after a
if
110% move, it's
yeah.
maybe a little overextended. We are seeing the character change. You can see why I love my trigger system is just at a glance I can see, well, holding the blue, holding this yellow ribbon.
Uh-huh.
Oh, now something else is going on. So
Something
now
else
we're
is
waiting.
definitely going on. And I think is that a 200 moving average you have there in the middle in the blue
So
on top of yeah, that one.
this one here is a 50-day, and then I
That's a
have the
50-day,
200
okay.
way down here. So we're quite
Way down
extended.
there. So
Yeah.
yeah, we are definitely extended.
And then this is
Um
the monthly trigger for my system. So I often find that this acts a little bit better than some of the other ones on long-term levels. And you'll see how it often kind of lines up with these
mhm,
previous levels of basing before pushing up. So what we
yeah.
could see is, I mean, I guess that would be pretty egregious.
I
25%
didn't want to
drop.
say it before you zoomed out, but I mean, for me, for a lower target,
Yeah,
those 3,600, 36, the 3,600 area is where I think, okay, it's still a healthy pullback. Now, if we get below that 3,600, then I'm like, what's going on? But
absolutely.
I think we could move sideways for a while there, even though we hear calls for 6,000 by the end of the year, and anything could happen. But yeah, it's not. It wouldn't be impossible, and that's like a Quasimodo setup that you have right there. So
I like that. Never heard
yeah,
that. Um,
yeah, a lot of forex traders use quasis, and kind of looks like what you have here.
Wait, so
So
what is that a
we'll see.
specific technical setup?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's called the Quasi. Actually, let me pull it up here.
Very
We
cool.
have Victor who only trades Quasis.
Oh,
Wait. I hadn't heard of it until I started looking at how do you call that? Those forex traders. I think they use it in forex a lot.
okay.
So yeah, actually, I have it pulled up there. Let me share my screen. So that's what it looks like. So you have a lower high, lower low. Kind of looks like was it Wyckoff? That kind of
Yeah, yeah.
Wyckoff accumulation. So
Right
yeah,
on.
that's what it looks like, and it's a very well known pattern in forex trading. And
So
what
it's
you
almost
drew
like
here,
Head and Shoulders with a staggered neckline, kind of a
yeah,
diagonal
exactly.
neckline, or not neckline necessarily, but just that second push up to form the kind of right armpit, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a little higher, it seems,
exactly.
which I like because that's a sign of strength. So for me, this is kind of just like an angular version of my classic W, not my, but just that
Yeah,
higher low pattern.
you own it, Steve. Come on, you own the W.
Exactly. Yeah, I own 1/26th of the alphabet. Yeah, that's my Google position. I always think that's funny. I want to put on my LinkedIn like, well, I'm a VC because I own 0.00000001% of Google, who invested in in Anthropic or whatever. So I guess you could say
Yeah.
I'm like Sam Altman.
Man, I've been hearing those videos of how his investments would have paid off huge, if he hadn't been arrested and whatever, because
Yeah.
he invested in all the right companies. But
Mhm.
when you make 100 bets, it's kind of hard to not to go wrong.
Especially when you got some real smart or real rich friends,
There
saying,
you go.
"Hey, you want to get a
Keyword.
little piece? You want in on this action?" It's a whole lot of it's a big old club, and we're not in it, Dave, unfortunately.
Nope.
Maybe a few more good trades. Hey, good
Maybe
morning,
quite a few.
Tina Gonzalez. Welcome, welcome.
Indeed. Welcome. All right, so we took the look on gold here. I'm just gonna switch because we want to look at oil, and we are
Uh-oh.
printing green.
Spooky. Very spooky for
Indeed.
bulls today. But maybe we get the pressure release happening on the morning session. To me, so I mean, it is really. Oh, it's actively pushing right now, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
actively pushing.
yeah.
We're in a 104 area. If I go on an hourly, this is so we had that gap here. We filled the gap. We were oscillating inside. Then we broke out, pulled back. Like this is a classic, you know, beginning of trend here,
Mhm.
and this trend could continue. First target would be around that 110. That's six points higher. So that would be, if we're talking indexes inversely correlated to oil, that would mean much deeper pullbacks for us on the equity side. So we'll see what happens. But so far, oil is very firm and going, hopefully not to the moon, but going upwards.
Yeah, this is pretty spooky. One thing that I am noting here is I'm looking at USO because I'm primarily an equities trader, so I want to keep an eye on these
Yep.
levels. What I'm noticing is that USO, it's through all-time highs. Well, 52-week highs. So
Hmm.
it doesn't have that hangover that the oil or the oil contract CL is going to have on that kind of just overhanging shelf of volume. This one could kind of, I mean, obviously it's still trading off the same thing, but I'd note that the traders who aren't looking at futures and they're just saying, "Wow, USO is on my scans again. It broke 52-week highs. I bet this
Yep.
is a rally." So you can kind of see where that basket of traders can kind of help bolster the whole move there. What I'm looking for is we got $4 to 150. That's going to be a big level, even if it doesn't align with something super pretty on CL, which is going to be, I think that would be roughly 110, something like that. So that's
Hmm.
kind of where I would like to see us make a surge to. I see we have, let's use a little channel to get, yeah. So something like in this range here would make a lot of sense to me for a surge up in the next couple days. And then maybe it just keeps blasting to the moon if we get some bad bearish news.
I mean, back in '08, we got to 137, I think.
No, and I've been saying for a while now that I don't know necessarily how the market's going to react. I didn't expect this V shape, but I did know that if we don't see resolution and normalization to the traffic of the Strait of Hormuz, oil's just going to keep going higher and higher. If
Yeah.
it's still like this in a month, then it'll be at 150. If it's still like this in 6 months, it'll be at 200 plus 250 maybe. So
Yeah.
what are we at? It's been about a month and we're up.
Right now we're, yeah, 104.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's still going higher. I was trying to look at the different levels. So Brent's about 110. These charts look so strong. They do not look
Yeah.
strong.
I mean,
Mm,
if this was a stock, I would be buying. I would be piling in right now, you know?
Yeah, well, and speaking of that, I mean, on my watch list, I do a lot of different scanners and stuff, and a few of my favorites are showing real strength in the oil field and drilling. So P10, this one's looking like it's doing a major breakout here. To
Hmm.
me, looking very
Oof.
constructive. We have RES. That's the right ticker. Yeah,
And I remember
RPTA.
you were in that you. Well, as I'm saying it alert coming in.
What's it doing? I'm scared. Is it
I was
strong?
about to I was about to ask you for that you crossing 21.
Yeah. I just saw the ding there.
Yeah.
So what we do see, this one, it isn't acting right in my book. I thought that we would get some consolidation and holding near the top of this megaphone. We had to flush out
Yeah.
back to the support. So now I'm just like, in my book, it's like, okay, we're in a flag. We try to break out. We fail. We're holding the flag. So it's to me, my system says hold unless we lose 20. So that's my plan
Okay.
here. But yeah, position trade here. So it's always annoying when you have a daily candle that looks so beautiful, and then you kind of start feeling like you know what's going to happen, especially when it pushes a little bit
Yeah.
higher the next day, and then just,
It
nope,
just completely reverses on you.
back in the hole. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll
I
see.
think that realistically, what may be happening is it may be putting in a higher low in a W pattern like that. That's worst case is it needs to kind of just say, oh, not quite ready, puke out down to maybe 1850, 19. Worst case 18. That's my weekly trigger there as well. So
Okay.
I don't know. It's a little tricky here for me,
We'll
but I
see.
think
We'll
that
see.
just having some exposure to this space, even if it's as simple as like OIH, having some. Let's see, we talked P10, RES, and there was one other that looked really good before we
But
know.
you said UU is also it's not just oil and stuff like that. It's also metals
So yeah,
or rare earth
UU is
minerals.
weird. So it is energy, but it's going to be uranium, and they also have
Oh.
this whole other kind of spin, like thing that makes their play unique, where they're one of the few miners of rare earth minerals for magnets. So them and
Mm.
MP, I believe. So that you have this interesting kind of interplay where they move mostly with uranium. If we look at like, or what is it? I'll just use URA because they hold a lot of the actual index. I forget what it is, but yeah, it roughly moves with uranium a lot more than the rare earth metals ETF, for example. But you
Okay.
can see that when the rare earths start going crazy, this does track with them. So
Hmm.
it's got like kind of both of that going on. Definitely an interesting one.
Okay.
And I think long term, it's just very likely to go much higher. It's just a matter of how long it takes to get there because it's very speculative, kind of similar to LAC, which is another one here that I'm in long term. And this is just Lithium of America. They have a big old Thatcher patch. It's like the biggest spot mine of lithium in North America, and they're just starting to kind of break ground on that. So long term, great
Mm.
play. That's why Trump and the United States invested in them. Short term, it's considered a pretty crappy company, so it gets punished
Yeah.
very easily. But
Yeah.
when it's
But
time,
long term, it might be an awesome play.
and yeah, we do have Bell in just a second here, so I'll stop distracting. But just putting it on your radar, guys. Lithium as a sector overall, very strong. ALB
Yeah.
probably the leader in that space. And when this
So
thing keeps going,
lithium for anybody who's watching, lithium battery, lithium is a very important. component and batteries, and you're thinking electric vehicles and everything electric. So
Hmm.
you already know, guys, the future is electric. All right, we are
Open.
open. So
There
let's
it
see
is.
what is going on right now. Man, I think that gold trade ran away from me. So let me just switch to my Black Arrow platform really quickly. So we were looking for a push up into that area to try to kind of find a setup.
Mhm.
But I think that one's going to run away from me. We're already, what is it, 20 points? Yeah, we're already 20 points lower from where I was looking for. So if we get some kind of a pullback, we'll try something. But right now,
Not a
selling
lot.
the bottoms would have been a good idea.
Yeah, no, it's sometimes when you see the setup out of the gate, it's so hard for me, but I just have to start training myself. Hey, if it looks really good, sometimes I got to just take a little nibble
Just take
right out
it.
of the gate and play that momentum. But
Yep.
it's bad vibes for me sometimes, it's just a little bit sketchy. So I see SPY kind of wandering down right into the bull supply zone for now. I'll pull up the ES levels in just a second, but for any SPY traders, just roughly just over 710 to 750, call it 770. This is just the range where statistically, if we're going to dip and then carry on upwards, we'd like to see a catch here. Since it's weaker, so far I would imagine we at least test the 709.70. That's going to be the cam pivot. Moving into ES levels.
Just looking at a few things right now. Let me see.
Kind of
NQ
thinking 7150 would be
7150.
pretty.
Man,
Oh,
that
sorry,
150 level keeps popping up.
sorry,
That's
Dave.
the exact that's the exact level that we were talking about last time you were here. That's funny.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it aligns with that 710, which we're transacting right now. And sorry, yeah, I forgot when I switched on to my trading view here. That's delayed data. So let me get the black arrow up.
Sorry.
Still heavy.
Yeah, we're I mean, it's logical that we're pulling back a little bit even if we didn't have all the news
Mhm.
after what is it? 19 days of just green, green, green. You'd expect a pullback.
Absolutely. And so the only things that I'm seeing really outsized green on my screen are going to be memory off the, what is it? Seagate reported yesterday, I believe, putting in good results. So we have MU up 4%, SanDisk up 7%. Real crazy moves across the whole sector there. Besides that, little bit red, but nothing too crazy.
Yep.
3% VIX up. So still within the realm of possibility for a catch here at 710 in my book. And yeah, ES level, that's 7150.
See, 7150, yeah. So
Mm.
everything pushing lower. The idea here is for us to look for pullbacks to try and get in short trades. So I'm going to be a little bit patient today. I feel like I say that every day. I'm going to be a little bit patient.
Just a little bit. I like it. Well, you gotta risk it for the biscuit, but at the same time, it pays to just think in contingencies is how I like to put it. Like,
Yeah.
well, what do you say? What's your line? Strong conviction held lightly, something like that.
Yeah. Strong opinions
Yeah,
held lightly. Yeah.
love that. Love
But
that.
yeah, this is it. This is true. All right. Looking at the Nasdaq right now, pushing lower, just like everything else.
Yep,
I
just
think I'm gonna have to let that first 15 minutes show what the assets want to do, and then we can decide based on that what kind of trades we want to take.
yeah. I'm noticing a little bit of relative strength on Qs compared to SPY, but not enough for me to feel very confident about anything here.
Yeah.
So if we hang out here for about 10 minutes, maybe push down a little more and then catch, that 71 to 50 kind of handle is an area I could consider getting long off of for a scalp, but it's a little bit spooky here. I'm just seeing that heavy downward pressure not looking like it's ready to stop quite yet.
Yeah. And we also, man, it feels like we're getting that downward momentum.
Mhm.
The other thing to consider is, Fed Day. Everybody needs to be aware that we could be expecting, a further push, a huge push, and then it ends up being just sideways action. So just
Yeah.
keep that in mind. Anybody trading, it could go either way today.
It's really not a great look here on SPY, I'm not gonna lie, it's kinda tough. It's like we were really looking bullish until yesterday's overnight action just washed us
Yeah.
out, and now today we're seeing a pretty good attempt to lose yesterday's lows. If we do see that 709.25, which should be about 71.40 roughly, um, that's it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for bulls to hold the line above. I think it needs to wash out to 700, which would be on ES. Let me double check. Yeah, down 1.5%. That's not the right ticker. There we go. Yeah, 70.50. I mean, it'd be nice to get the 7,000, but we'll see.
Hmm. That seven
Definitely.
thousand is the number we were trying to break for a while there, for what, 3 months, and we
Absolutely.
finally pushed through. So
No, it's significant, and I'm just so spooked by this. If we also look at the daily, you have this monster uptrend line. Let me fix it a little bit.
mhm.
It's like it's testing, testing. So what you can see on these is if this is a bullish megaphone, it can still do
Yeah,
some of it,
that's it can definitely.
and like mess with people, rebase, kind of form a new pennant or something.
Hmm.
I just wonder if it needs some more time up here because this was it would have been an insane squeeze if we move this much, consolidate for 5 days, and just keep on going.
I
But
mean,
like,
anything's possible, but I'm leaning more towards we need just like we were talking about on gold. We need to digest the move a little bit, distribute a little bit before we can move higher, especially with all this uncertainty. I mean,
mhm,
we got to think about. There was somebody I was listening to the other day who was saying, "Hey, if you're in the sector of shipping these days, especially if you're shipping oil and whatever, and you're a business person, you're on standby mode. I mean, you're just waiting because every day it's something different. Every day it's another tone, whatever. You're not sure what to do. So depending on which business sector you're in, and if you are in a very large sector right now, you're standing by, and I think we're probably going to see that eventually in the market. The
yeah,
market seems to not be aware, or seem for the past 19 days, not be aware of what's been going on geopolitically, and
right.
not care,
Mhm.
which is why that huge move caught me off guard. But I think
Well,
we need, after that, everybody needs a reality check, and we'll be like, okay,
it's
what
very spooky, this kind of disconnect where
yeah,
everybody's aware of it, but it becomes this kind of thing where the market's disconnected from what's happening globally, but what's happening globally can change faster than most people can kind of keep up with, I think.
yeah,
So you kind of have some push and pull where there's these big issues which are very binary. Like if we are not seeing traffic go through the Strait of Hormuz at a normalized level, that is a real tailwind for oil, a real drag on our economy. You also have so much smoke and mirrors kind of getting laid on top of each other that we could be closer to some type of resolution. We could be seeing us getting close to a breaking point where, I mean, I think that it's quite possible, despite how terrible things look, that Trump realizes this and goes, I can't do this right now. Into midterms,
yeah,
I gotta chill. And
yeah.
all of a sudden then the market would rip and roar like crazy and it would be using this fear, like maybe we're even seeing today if it starts to fall, just as a springboard, just as a liquidity grab. And this is
Hmm.
kind of where what my base case is starting to be the longer I see this price action happening, where it's just I don't want to say crimey, but it feels very much like we have somebody in this cabinet who is very, very aware of market mechanics, who's been a professional trader for a very long time, and
Hmm.
knows how to springboard headlines into liquidity grabs and keep the market going up and to the right. So to
Indeed.
me, Shadow President Basant is doing his job, and I think that we have to be much more worried about not having enough exposure in our long ports and getting too scared of the bearish headlines compared to expecting the world's going to end, because realistically
Yeah.
speaking, we have a pretty good track record of figuring out ways to make money off of wars.
Of course. And it's been, it's interesting that you highlighted that there's somebody's very aware. If you look at the pattern of releases and the timing, it's
Mm.
it's been interesting.
Oh yeah.
It's when they come out, it's been very interesting.
Well, are you
The
noticing like
reactions, the
the
moves that happen. Oh,
mm, no,
I'm
sorry, I was
sorry, I
just gonna
interrupted.
say, are you noticing like how when we come into key supports, that's when these headlines will come out in clusters?
Yeah, not
Yeah.
only key supports, but the times. I mean, it rarely happens. It's like, okay, we had this tweet at 7. That one was really the one that first of all, let's start from the beginning. The declaration of war, if we could call it that, happened on weekend. It didn't happen during the week. It didn't happen during market hours. It didn't happen, it was specifically on a Saturday. So that was the interesting point. The other interesting point was I can't remember which tweet or whatever communication it was where you could see the volume increase about 10 minutes before whatever they said that time when the market spiked up,
Mm.
so it's like, somebody knew something's going on there, and I
Yeah.
remember I was trading that day. So
There, I'm like trying to remember which day you're talking about. There's been so many that
there's
have
so
done.
many. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very crimey. What can you do? So I'm
Well,
keeping.
you could just trade.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what can you do? Well, yeah, I'm keeping money in the bank long. I'm not.
Yeah.
Money in the bank sounds like I'm keeping it in cash. No, I'm keeping invested in this market despite the jitters in the headlines. And if we get a big flush out, well, I'm just gonna buy more. To be
That's
completely
it.
honest.
That's it. No, longer term, we're bullish. We're
Yeah.
looking for discounts to buy more.
Hmm.
So I'm just gonna switch to my screen really
Yeah, of
quick
course.
right now. Gold ran away from us. Let me just switch to GC. Gold ran away from us, so I honestly do not see. I'm not gonna chase. The pullback was here. This is where we could have shorted. We unfortunately didn't get that one. So target right now is that whole 4,500 number.
Hmm.
44.90 is the prior weekly close, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be the target for anybody who's shorting gold, who shorted gold right now. Um, and then on the Nasdaq, we're getting a pullback here. So this is kind of what I'm looking for to enter short. I just want to see if we can hold under this level, and I will scale in there, risking those prior highs. Hopefully we get that, and it's not actually a recovery that we're getting. So we'll see. We're going to be patient there. Let's look at oil. Oil's still pushing upwards, so that's telling me to go short.
Yeah, it's so tricky with that because been the same thing for me. I've been so hesitant to get more long because I've been watching oil so closely. And I feel like for me personally, I have to kind of not assume that they are going to immediately affect each other, and that they, at least to the upside, could both move up together
Yeah.
as as we see these oil names start to kind of continue to work in the context of, well, the AI trade's still smashing and ripping here, especially on the memory side. I'm seeing the squeeze continue there. SanDisk up another 2%. Micron wants a lot more, I believe. And so in my book for Qs here, I'm just seeing a higher low that's trying to fight here today. And when I look intraday, I'm seeing a battle for VWAP, this kind of pinkish line there. So if we can flip this, which it doesn't look weak to me yet, at least. If we can flip this, then I would consider a potential reach into internal liquidity on the hourly chart. And I think the best example to show that is SPX, where we can see without the kind of overnight action to cloud things, we do have a gap to fill here. Especially if I move this, yeah, there you go. We can see the gap pretty clearly here. If we hold this higher low right here, I think we do have a chance
Hmm.
to fill this, but it's going to be contingent on that VWAP in my book. So especially this Q's VWAP, which we are trying to get over it. If this is a rejection here, though, then we can continue that momentum down pretty fast. And I do see room on that on the hourly, if we can. because this is
Yeah.
what I'm seeing on like all of my hourly charts. It's either we're about to cross over bearish and get a big push down with a lot of room, or we're gonna hold the line here in the next half hour, carve up a move, and reach up to maybe fill that gap on SPX and on Qs. So those are the two ways I could see this breaking and kind of the levels that I'm looking there.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. So we'll see. I just want to see, at least for me, how we react to the lower end of this area here. Let me look at so 70, call it 710. Um, how the SPY reacts to this area
Looking
if
bad,
we go and
honestly.
retest it. But this might be just that. It looks a lot like gold. A lot like
Mm.
the setup we had on gold this morning, where it was you just had to sell the bottom, and then
Yeah,
you know.
you got to
So we'll see.
make a low of the day to make a new low of the day, right?
Exactly.
So
So
I am seeing
see that.
SPY. It looks like it's trying to take this red path here, something like this. Definitely not strong yet. What I will say is this is the last kind of line of defense here, and you can see a little bit of a bid trying. And on my screen it says bear shall not pass. It's the cam pivot level. So we'll see if they can hold the line there. But yeah, in my book, losing the opening range like this after that fit like on the 15-minute flip there close, that's
Mhm.
not a great look, and it needs to make some traction pretty fast if it's going to do a sweep and a reclaim.
Exactly.
I'd be
So we'll
inclined
see
to
what
short
happens
it.
there. For my ORB traders, I'm just going to show you guys what I'm looking at right now. So we have, let me put it in pink. I always put a pink box. I don't know why. So yeah, our opening range, 15-minute opening range is this right now. The halfway point is actually where they've been buying, which, like
Mm.
Steve had mentioned, we need to be aware that it might be bulls just diving in and buying that. So a move up. Oh yeah, I'm seeing. Oh
I think we're
man,
going
yeah,
up.
yeah.
The divergence on Qs, which should be what's strong to lead us up, like it's such a clear divergence here with the higher low on Qs with the VWAP neckline compared to SPY with that lower low.
Let me just check out the. Yeah, I'm on cues right now. Let me just switch to the ES to see what we did. Reset.
So there's some push and pull here, and for me, I'd like to see
Definitely.
Qs lead us up, but I maybe that's a bad read. I think that I should just be watching that divergence and seeing how it plays out more than assuming one side or the other's right.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, we are it's a tricky area because I just pulled up my volume profile. I'm looking at we are at liquidity levels. So it is a good area for longs as well. So it's a tricky spot
Yeah,
because you're under. So let me just show you on the cues. Let's go there. We are right now under this prior support level, right? But if I don't have the volume profile there, but this whole area is a liquidity area.
yeah.
So this is where longs could just be piling in for another move higher.
And
Um,
that's really the name of the game in my book because it's like you said, it's tricky. It's in a tricky spot. Either we are dipping into this level of low liquidity, and then we'll find very quickly, no, we don't belong here. We want to go higher. This was a quick pit stop, right? Then we rip
yeah.
back higher, and it's a fake breakdown. But if not, if it finds acceptance under this kind of, in this low volume node, under the big volume node, well, then very likely it needs to drive down through that cam pivot, through that low of day, through
Mhm.
that mean reversion intraday dip buy level, where if we're going to go back up and just mean revert to yesterday's kind of levels, well, then we would catch here and push up, which very well
Yep.
could be what we're seeing and kind of is how I'm leaning. Oh, especially with this big volume in on Qs through VWAP, definitely
We
watch the candle print here. If
yeah,
it
we're gonna
rejects, that's
watch.
telling us something. If it holds, that's definitely telling us something.
Definitely. So when I'm hesitating like that and we're not sure what to do exactly, what I go back to, okay, what makes sense, what patterns, since we have levels, we've seen the speed of price, we're kind of trying to get a read on direction here. Then I revert back to, okay, what price patterns, what price behavior am I looking for to enter a trade? So if I want to go long, I want to be a little bit more confirmed and classical opening range breakout. We would look for a break out of this, not enter, wait for some kind of a pullback. Hopefully we get one. Enter, enter on the retest and then go target the highs. That's a scenario we want to see if we want to go long. And then if we want to go short, that it would be a similar scenario where we lose the support here, hopefully get a pullback.
Yeah,
Uh, sorry.
for sure. Yeah, it's tough because if we lose that support like you're talking about, then it's like, well, what if it just needs to push a little deeper and still get a
Yes,
higher
that's
high,
the thing.
and then
And
it's like,
that's
oh,
where you have to
higher
just,
level.
you just put your stop and then say that, this is where I'm wrong,
Yeah.
and accept that it's a loss. But we are seeing that increase in volume here. We are seeing them break higher.
Hmm.
So far our short trade is off, and we're probably looking for another push higher, but it's not yet
Cool.
100% confirmed. So we're going to be extra patient today. No,
That's a
no trade is also a good trade.
I think we might get your bullish setup though, the pull back into that level, because that's, I mean, hey, we got that divergence playing out. So that I'm glad that we did kind of recognize that, Dave, because
Yeah,
that's something that I'm still learning, these divergences. Like I'll see them in retrospect, but it's hard for me to catch them in the
real
minute.
time.
Yeah, but this one, hey, we got the big pop up, and I think that right there is your entry potentially.
It looks like the entry, but I'm going to be very patient because the thing is, today is again Fed Day. And
Mm,
what I want to be aware of is we might, we're not necessarily going to get a straight push into that. The range, let me just measure the size of the range, because the size of the range tells you also how much displacement are we getting, how aggressive are things. And guess what, the range is 68 points. What that tells me is, if I'm not getting at least 100 points of displacement, 100-point range on the Nasdaq, that tells me that this is a very muted move. We're not
right.
ready to do huge moves. Because for an asset that moves on average, on a bad day, 200, 250 points in a day,
Yeah,
if we've only displayed 68 points, it's not a good sign for trends or things like that. So I'm gonna be extra patient. We're gonna wait and see what we get.
I respect that, and we are seeing that prudence paying out here. Just it's not able to find that acceptance over VWAP
Yeah,
yet, at least, and that VWAP on NQ is going to be your neckline there,
20
whatever that
20.
yellow
Yeah,
level is.
27 220 is what I have for VWAP. It's anchored to the start of the day, so we'll see.
Oh, I see.
Speaking
Okay,
of
on
patience,
NQ, sorry. Yeah, that's a Q's VWAP there. So often we'll get the
yeah.
interplay between the two, on that
Hmm.
first hour. If I kind of look at like an opening range level, that
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, we've
that's
spoken
right.
about that. Yeah, that's true. Speaking of patience, let's just go back to yesterday's trade, just
Yeah.
use so we can use it as a reference, because I see somewhat of a, well, it's not exactly the same pattern, but yesterday we had a range of about 166 points for reference.
Wow.
So more than two times of today's range. So we had that yesterday. We were definitely looking for that setup. We had that push up into the opening range. We pulled back to the 50% area and then went and retested that high, and that's when we got short. But there were so many confluences yesterday that this was kind of an A plus setup. So today we'll see what we get. It's not as clean.
Yeah, this is interesting. Not sure how to feel about it, to be honest.
I'm just waiting. Um, Today I don't mind not taking a trade if it's not just calling me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. All right, we're definitely pushing higher there, and Steve mentioned that probably the entry was right on top of this right on the pullback there, which was a setup we talked about. But we'll see. I'm also looking at the 5-minute chart, and maybe I want to take the entry based on how the 5-minute chart displaces. So we'll see. We'll
Absolutely.
wait
So
there.
double checking. few entries. I heard something going off on my phone.
No
Oh, it was a little
problem.
spooky.
Look in there. Oh, you have birds near where you're at?
I do. Can you hear that?
That's it's very comforting, I'll tell you that.
Whoa, that's wild how good my mic is. I can close my window. I could barely hear that.
Really? Nah, the
That's
mic is
wild. All
great.
right,
No,
there we
the birds are nah, don't close
go.
the
Oh,
window. I
shit.
actually like the sound. It's very I was gonna be like, because I've been thinking, I'm like, man, should I have background music on the stream or not? Sometimes I put something, but I don't know what type of music to put. But
Let's
I
do
heard the
that.
birds. I'm like, man, sounds of nature. That sounds nice. It sounds
Not so
very
bad.
relaxing and comforting for trading. So
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I like that. Also like I'm so lame. I like meditation music. It's just very
okay,
like I feel like I'm at a spa or something. It helps me trade.
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't tried that, but yeah, maybe something to consider.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so Q's definitely trying to rip us up, but I'm not seeing SPY cooperating all that much yet. So I'm curious. I'm curious about
Let's
what it does at the opening
switch.
level here. That's what it's trying to reclaim.
Yeah, let's just switch to the ES and C. Okay, so the range we had on the ES is about here. We have the lows here on the gray level. So let's see. Let me zoom in. Okay, maybe we'll get the setup on SPY. We'll see. Huh.
I'm gonna just grab some water real quick. Be
It's
right
no
back.
problem. We're seeing some relative weakness here on the ES. That is a tough read, guys. It's a tough read because we are seeing relative weakness on the ES, right? What I mean by that is the ES pushed lower below those previous support levels, right? And then now we're retesting this these prior lows. So are we going to flip or not? And what makes it a hard read is when you switch over and you go on the Qs, well, we've taken these levels out.
Yeah.
So that is my hesitation there. And I just have to wait. Have to wait for price to really show me what it wants to do. Now,
Right.
what
This
would
is
be great, since I'm still leaning, even though we're pushing higher, but I'm being a contrarian, what would be nice
Mhm.
is if we could get kind of we have a little trend going on. If we could get a break of that trend and retest higher and we push lower to these levels, that would be another setup I would be looking for.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Today is extra patience day.
No, definitely. And it's so ambiguous. What I could see happening, just to kind of what's the opposite of devil's advocating your position? Because I think that maybe if I
Angels.
had to like gun to my head, I think I'm a little bullish. But I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. Because like we flushed out, we're basically at the neckline of a V. We flushed out a lot faster than we ground up there. So
Hmm.
to me, that is telling me something that the downside pressure, it was faster, swifter, and now we're kind of grinding back up to retest that big puke level.
Hmm.
So I want to see if that big seller, which caused that big amplification of the selling to the downside, I want to see if he is still sitting up there when we test it.
Yep. So definitely you want to see what's going to happen there. I think this area is going to be an interesting one, right around here. So we'll
Mhm.
see what happens. And then I just enjoy watching price move. So maybe that's just me being more weirdo, but
Hey, if we're weird for that, then so be it. But I'm right there with you.
tricky one. All right, let me switch to the Dow Jones because I'll use. Oh man, look at that.
Woof.
Yeah,
What's going on?
Dow acting like gold. We gave those levels up pretty swiftly right there.
Man, it needs some milk. That's a tough candle right there. That's that's rough. So never what you want to see, but just we have what, couple hours until we get some jawbone. And let me check out
Yeah.
the economic calendar. I am looking at MU here. I think that's
Let me switch to your screen
it's
so we can
just
see.
still strong. I think that it did the thing yesterday. The thing being a retest of 500 after breaking out of this megaphone. So that was a real clean entry at 500 yesterday if you needed to get involved in this. And now pushing up nicely. I think that it's just going to keep on going. And I would just be totally open to just adding in intraday and just saying, hey, yeah, maybe I'll have to cut it low a day for $5 loss on this part. But I
Hmm.
think that it still is worth it to take these trades, as you see, trying to surge up here. And just kind of, this is how I pyramid into a position. Like, so I can't just start a position and have like a 10% stop or something up here, you know? But I
Hmm.
could start a position and have a half a percent stop or a, even from here, a 1% stop. That's totally reasonable for like to add in on size. Because then if I'm right, in a week, this thing's going to be, you know, 550 plus. And this was a safe area to add and kind of juice that trade while only risking 1%. So that's how I
Nice.
think you can kind of skew it to your side instead of just buying every day that it's up, you know, like some
Yep.
people, like,
Like some people do. Yeah.
that can go wrong as soon as it starts going up. So
It
yeah,
it could. Man, Micron. I used to trade Micron back in the day. I have two nemesis as well. Micron and Tesla are the ones I can remember. I just couldn't. I could never get it wrong. Back in what is it? Oh four.
oh, man.
I sound like this old war veteran.
Yeah, I don't even have that far back. Oh four. Oh, I guess we do.
No, not oh four. 2024.
I
Sorry,
was like,
I haven't been
Dave,
trading that long. I was still in
if
high
you say
school.
so.
No, I said oh 04, 2024. No, 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 no.
I said
Sorry.
2006 recently. I'm like, wait, that's not what year it is. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
um,
This is yeah. In like the hundred, the I remember trading it in like the 70 to 100 range a lot, 70 to 150. And man, I wish I stuck with it. What a
yeah,
crazy move.
indeed.
Boom. And yeah, it just doesn't look done. See,
All right, so we're kind of getting what I wanted to get on the cues.
oh, there we go.
So
It's
we'll
testing the
see.
VWAP here.
Yeah, it's testing the VWAP. So I'm still leaning bearish. I'm just
I'd
gonna
like.
hold a little bit, wait
I think that yeah, I think that off of these moving
for.
averages as we're losing them now, not a bad look. You can also look at this uptrend line violation. And so this is the first half hour price session that we're or price action that we're looking at. The 30-minute orb, if you want to go or call it like that. I wonder if sometimes you'll see in the next half hour just a little bit of a drift down to form a higher low, but often
Hmm.
I think that at this point it's kind of the decision being made for the day. Like this was the
And
manipulation. Now we can expand.
push lower, and that would be my target actually. The low, the prior low would be, since we're scalping, that would be the initial target. So if I exactly this area, would be where I would be looking to exit. If I get in with multiple contracts, then maybe we have two exits, but so far
I like it. And what I like
extra
about
patient there.
Dave, what I really like about you taking profit at the lows, even if we expect it goes lower, is because, like you said, it's a scalp. And often what I find is these trades take some time. Like
Yeah.
you'll get the incentive that we're breaking lower. So you'll get the big move down, it'll knife through here,
Hmm.
and then it will kind of just kill all the people that are holding zero DTE puts. And they'll say, all right, we're gonna well, yeah, those might be up 200% from here, but we're gonna bop them back down
Yeah,
150%,
exactly.
and just kind of recollect the profits, do the paint roller back in both directions when the tape gets slower in the midday here. So maybe you get the move back up and then sells back down over time, makes a new low, but they find the buyer again barely off the supply zone, and then it takes till the end of the day or tomorrow perhaps to get the volume to push us down.
Yeah.
Maybe not tomorrow. I would say,
Or end of the day, after market closes is where I've been seeing some pretty big moves. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And again, I'm keeping in mind that today is FOMC day, so we might just get a lot of sideways action. So
yeah,
not looking to hold trades for too long. We'll see.
I'm just checking the calendar here real quick
So no
for our
problem.
time.
Just switching back to my screen. So this is kind of what we were looking for. Whoop, sorry. Where's my screen? All right, there it is. Yeah, kind of what we were looking for. We have this little trend here, but here's the thing though. This is also the kind of the pullback we're looking for for to go long. So it's kind
Right.
of a hard call there for
It's
me right
it's
now.
tricky.
And I'm
At
seeing
times-
aggression here. I'm seeing the buyers step in. So I don't know. Maybe I want to try. You know what? Let's try a long, guys. We'll risk the half point of the opening range and then go target those highs.
man, I'm here for it.
Yeah, and I
Seeing
want to take it if we break higher. So I put a buy stop there. So we'll try the long there because I'm thinking maybe it needs to go and retest higher here before it goes lower.
Yeah, it could definitely have unfinished business up there. I think we'll find out on the VWAP hold or rejection here. But yeah, if you do flush the VWAP, then it might be your initial setup through the lows there. I honestly I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I'm
And I'm
just
looking at it.
I'm just gonna take a trade and get it out of my system.
I
So
like it. Sometimes you need to do that just to, yeah, exactly like you said. So for Qs, it did print a bearish crossover on the hourly oscillator, but that it could be reverted. It's just I would imagine that the bears try to run it down a little bit just after kind of
yeah,
achieving that crossover. But I'm honestly not sure.
yeah, it's a tough one. Because actually, if I go up on higher time frames, it's looking a lot more bearish.
Hmm. It's
So I don't
yeah.
even know. It's like, do I
Well,
want to
the
sit
thing
on
is
my
that
hands
even if
right?
we are bearish, we could have gotten that little stop run move that you were talking about back up to the pre-market levels, and we
Yeah,
might still get that now even. So it's tricky for sure, for sure. And here I'm just watching, yeah, the VWAP is starting to look like it's rejecting, but maybe giving it a few minutes for a 5-minute candle or something might be prudent. It's a tricky time of day here, tricky little setup, but looking
yeah.
potentially a little weak for me.
I mean, I've been leaning bearish all morning, and I've been wanting to take the shorts, but
But it's tricky when it does try to hold that VWAP. If the VWAP was lower in the day, I might feel like it's a valid place to double bottom. But it being up so high in today's range makes me just thinking about, like, if I ran this 100 times, how many of them would reject and how many of them would actually reclaim here. I think probably 70% or so would probably reject. But it's hard to say. It's like, it is a very abstract thought experiment.
yeah. All right, let's just wait. Let's just wait. But this was the initially kind of the short setup we were looking for.
Yeah, it's a tricky one here. If it back tests VWAP, I might take a little one, but I'm pretty okay with not trading today.
Yeah, I want to wait to get a little bit more of price action. I want to
Mhm.
get a little bit more of information because right now there's different scenarios, different things that could happen, and I'm really not clear on direction right now. And
I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
yeah,
I do. Yeah. I okay. Yeah. This is a pop that I want to see what it does, and it could be a place to get in. I might take that,
all
and
right.
that would be well, on my Qs chart here, 758.32. But
Let us see what happens. Guys, let us know what you're looking at, or do you want us to look at something in particular?
yeah.
We're just being mindful today, keeping in mind that today is Fed Day, where we're going to have the interest rate decision. We're going to have, I think, is it Powell's last talk? Is it the last time he's going to address
Hmm.
us? Probably.
Is it? I think it is. Yeah, it should
Yeah, I
be.
think it's the
So
last time.
that'll be sentimental. I'll miss the purple tie.
Is he going to go out with a bang or,
Spike the
you know?
football, take his ball and go
Yeah,
home.
there you
Oh,
go.
by
There
the way,
you
we're all screwed. Just, wait, what?
go.
What happened to dual
Peace, guys.
mandate?
I'm out.
It's like you guys ain't seen nothing yet. You thought I was. Oh no. Oh, I
Indeed.
don't know how to feel about Warsh. I mean, I guess there's no
I
point
don't know
fighting
either.
it, but
You said there's no fighting
I'm
it.
gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss Powell.
I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss him. His stoicism.
So yeah,
uh,
exactly. He's is very it made me feel good as a trader, you know? It
yeah,
wasn't like how I
you
feel
felt
like
like there was an adult you know in the department.
yeah, absolutely. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm looking around the horn at some of my swing trades. And a lot of them are kind of falling through. A lot of the commodity ones in particular are not seeing follow through. So that is
Okay.
not my favorite thing in the world, I must say, but it is what it is here. I'm gonna wait for these daily candles on things like UUU, FCX still having trouble, and long term on the shares, I just let them do what they're gonna do, but gotta manage the more active stuff for sure. Yeah,
Well,
so
massage those trades.
I'm just like being a position trader. Like I have my core like stuff that I really believe in. That's like
Mhm.
investments that I just don't really look at much, and then I have stuff like this where it's like I should just I should just not get caught in a week or two or month of drawdown that I don't need to, even if I'm pretty sure that this thing's going to dip a little bit, and then like I can save myself a little bit of strife and a few percents here or there to just get out when I'm wrong here,
Yeah.
wait to reassess. So it's something that I give it a little bit of a leash. So I'm like waiting for hourly closes and potentially on some of these the daily closes to see if at the end of the day they want to try to reclaim for you example. I'm watching this 1988 to 20 level there. That's the 50 moving average. So I'm giving it a little bit of a leash, but I just gotta respect that it ain't working too right now.
By the way, speaking of positions and things, I want to get your opinion. And by
Mhm.
the way, for everybody listening, this is not financial advice. This is just I want to get Steve's opinion. What's your take on Robinhood? Do you trade them at all? As a company. What
Yeah,
do you
well,
think of the company?
we took him yesterday on stream. Actually, we shorted Robinhood. That was a fun one. So
Nice.
yeah, so that is on that account. Actually, I believe we're still short. So we tried to long Robinhood, a cheeky little front run long because we were actually bullish. Me and Jesse, my trading. What are we doing? We're doing the after hours show. You know, that's who I've been rocking with, and so we were both kind of thinking that there's a chance that this is a surprise. Basically, the upside is the reward to the upside is pretty heavily skewed, being that if you looked at the kind of midpoint between analysts, we were definitely on the bottom side of that range, and the
Hmm.
technicals seemed like they were trying to at least hold this 80 and magnet back to 100. So in my book, for the daily kind of setup, before yesterday, whoops, or before today's candle, I should say, we were in a wait and see mode. We came
Okay.
in gap. We were holding over the 21, and I could see this going in two ways. We could say that it was essentially breaking the previous range and then retesting this kind of I guess it would look better to put it at the top there. Kind of retesting here. So that's one way you could look at it. Into earnings, catches here, goes and rips. How 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 it ended up going was more like our initial longer term look, where it's kind of making a head and shoulders right shoulder here.
Hmm.
You can also see this uptrend line that I had that essentially rejected, as well as the 50% of the range, which is, I think, the real big deal here. We had a defined range. It came up and rejected very cleanly there. So in my book, I think this is a short that you hold. That being said, my target was this gap fill, which we just got here at 71.66. So that's been a real profitable one for us. And then Dave, we actually did one other. Oh yeah, let me talk about the actual trade because it was a fun one. We had we had a little bit of a pop that we tried to long at first, just thinking we could front run it and get a nice entry. If we did get the surprise beat, then we're
Mm-hmm.
off to the races in before the previous high of the day there. So we got long about 82. Yeah, 82 when it just
Nice.
started to move. And it spiked. I didn't take anything off. I didn't take anything off because it happened so darn fast. And we were like, did earnings even come out yet? And we couldn't find it. And then I turned around and it had faded. And I'm like,
It
oh, goodness
faded.
gracious. And so we got
Woo.
stopped. We got stopped out break even at
Oh, that's
682.
good.
And
Okay, so
then
scratch
when
trade.
it lost this previous low, I marketed in. I ended up getting filled. What in tarnation? I guess it just happened so fast. We were in a little over 80. We got stopped out here, thankfully. I thought that I tried to get in right there, but that's a lot of slippage. So regardless, it was a little bit spooky when what was it? When it transacted one of these gap fills. Sorry, I'm a little cloudy headed. Where did it go?
Wonderful. And while you're looking for this, I'm just going to reply to this comment.
Oh yeah.
Tuba, thank you. Promotion for futures trading. We will have promotions soon. Stand by. We have a lot of good stuff coming your way on the futures side. We ran a lot of promotions when we launched, but so far no promotions. But stand by. Keep checking in, keep checking out the chat, and we'll have some stuff going on soon. We have Marcos in saying, sorry, new here. What instrument do you trade? Well, this is the future stream. So we trade futures. I primarily trade the Nasdaq and the ES, and sometimes we'll trade other indexes and some commodities, mostly gold. And then Steve here, I'll let him talk, but I know he trades just about anything.
Yeah, if it has a
If it
ticker, I'll
moves.
trade it. Uh, so in general, I'm an equities trader, but I do love trading futures. I'm being a bad influence, distracting, talking about our hood earnings trade here. But in general, you'll find me trading, if not my futures account, ES or MES or MNQ, the micros, or you'll find me trading SPY itself. So on the hood trade here, the level that I was a little bit antsy about was this 76.70 level, and that was because that's the 50-day moving average. So the initial trade was to here and then watch and see what happens, with the potential to go down to 72 for that full gap.
Okay.
So it started to kind of consolidate here, and we had to just say, hey, all right, if it reclaims this high, then we got to get out. But luckily never did, and we were able to just kind of hold this one into oblivion here. The other
Nice.
trade, we also went long Visa, and that one, whew, that one's been cooking too. So on the Visa one, we got in late. We actually saw this one late because we were watching the hood trade. We got in at about 325. Yeah, 325 proper. And this morning, it just continued this move with a lot of volume out in the morning out of the gate here. So really, really strong action on both of these. We booked a nice couple days of earnings there. But Dave, today is when it's really going to matter. We got four big boys coming in.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any predictions for earnings, or are you just watching the fireworks here?
No, I'm just watching the fireworks, adding to longer term positions. I asked you about Robinhood because that's I believe in the company. I've been using them for a while, and I like the fact that I'm getting a discount here.
That's
So
fair.
yeah,
Long term, I'm with you.
like super long term. And we could probably talk about these things off stream, but I'm thinking super long term
Yeah.
for Robinhood. By the way, my short entry is triggering practically
Whoa. That's a money.
now. So no, on the Nasdaq. So just gonna switch my screen and then we'll go back to yours really quickly. So yeah, this is basically what we were looking for. We said we needed this little trend to kind of break. We hesitated and then to go and retest. So we're retesting this upper level here. So I'll give it a few more candles, and if we start oscillating back to the upside, I'll go short, risking this prior high there. Just being mindful that If we zoom out and look on a higher time frame, this might just be, a continuation higher. So I want to see us kind of start rotating a little bit before I enter the short. I'm not going to blindly enter, and I'm willing to enter a little late, because if not, then this is just a recovery and we are just going to form um, a structure to the upside. I don't really want to go long
Mm,
at this point because I feel it's relatively late.
yeah.
So if I don't get a short setup, then it'll be no trade for me on the Nasdaq. Now, for Marcos that asked the question, what do you trade? Let us know what you trade. Do you trade futures? Um, Let us know.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And back to you.
it's such a personalized thing, like you gotta find like the Cinderella slipper that fits, I feel like. And then
Yep.
once you get what you're comfortable with, you can start branching out eventually. But it's so good to have kind of your home base, so to speak, which you're very comfortable with.
Indeed, indeed.
Hmm.
It's good to try out a few things, but I think if you find something and stick to it, then you'll save yourself a lot of pain.
Totally, totally.
All right, I'm seeing what I want to see, so we're gonna start scaling in here.
Love it. Yeah, this is what I'd be looking for too. We had the high volume on that 1 minute candle a few minutes ago, just not being able to push any higher. So that's a
Yep.
higher low on volume coming in, and now it's starting to roll on top of that. To me, that's looking like potentially the start of a little M pattern, getting back down to the lows of the day. That's what I'd like to see. Still fighting here though. Still
It's
fighting.
still fighting. It's still
But
fighting.
I
Just in with one contract, but
yeah, I
I
think
like
that
to put
volume.
my money where my mouth is. So we'll see.
I'm
You
with you. I
said,
think the volume on the red candle is my favorite part here, where it's like if it was going higher, I don't know if we would have seen that. I think that was a sign of somebody kind of trying to stop us from making that push. Let's see. Marco
all right.
saying, just watching, probably purchasing an account. The only thing I'm familiar with is Ninja Trader. Okay, so it's going to be a nice and easy transition. I think it should be pretty easy from Ninja Trader. That was one that I was familiar with, and when I hopped onto Black Arrow, it's pretty smooth in my book.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff there. But yeah, definitely no shame in just watching until you feel comfortable, and then when you're ready to take that plunge, definitely go with the fivers in my opinion if you're doing futures. That's my go-to.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Just as a reference, guys, I'm gonna watch this level. So this is a protective stop, but if we can't stay below this area here, then it doesn't make sense for me to keep the trade, because that
Yeah.
becomes actually, the long that we've been talking about. And it's just this is just a slow recovery and move to the upside. So
Mhm.
we'll see what happens there if we can get some big selling. Probably entered preemptively here, but totally fine. But like Steve was saying, Marcos, Black Arrow is very intuitive. It's a great platform. It's very fast. I like the fact that you can trade. I like, for anybody who uses Trading View a lot, whatever. I'm a very visual person, so you
Mhm.
could have your order entry here. You could set presets with your brackets, and then hover over the screen to place your orders. Actually, I I messed up my bracket. There we go. So great platform overall. You have all your indicators and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, it is coming and testing your level there. It's also
Yeah.
peaking over the 200-minute moving average. And just for any viewers out there, this is a really tough day. I'm gonna say it. Like I'll go on record and say this is not easy price action. We're seeing contingencies starting to be well, potentially playing out here into this big big pivotal moment of Powell talking and then into all of these earnings. So the reason why I personally have been like at different points today bullish or bearish as well, my hourly oscillator, which is how I kind of base my trends, it's chopping. It's going peaking up, then peaking down, peaking up, peaking down.
Yeah.
In short-term moving averages and
Hmm.
oscillators, all that kind of stuff are just going through the process. So we've basically all we've done today is digested the move we made in the morning, that knife down, and now we're just back to where we were pre-market all day. So nothing has happened, and it makes it really tough to take a directional bet. That being said, starting to get some significant upside, and through that 200-minute moving average is notable for me. So I want to see where this closes, especially in 6 minutes on the half-hour flip. And yeah, that's tough.
It's a
Seems
tough
like
one. And so far, I'm definitely wrong. So we're passing this level here. We'll give it maybe 5 more minutes if I don't get stopped out.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting stopped out,
That's so strong, man.
but it's a tough one.
Tough.
Yeah, and it's
I would
looking, if you look on the hourlies, this is like just a pullback, and we're gonna just blast to the upside. So definitely wrong on that trade. Um, we'll see.
I
Maybe
would
we could get a little recovery, but if not, then it's fine. The risk was calculated, and it's part of trading. We have Tuba saying, also new here, what is the main difference between futures and CFDs?
great question. Do you
Okay,
want to take this, or I can also as
you
well?
could start, and then I'll throw some of my thoughts there.
Sure. So with the futures account, that's how you're going to trade the actual futures contracts, whether that is like NQ or MNQ for the QQQs, or whether that's GC for gold, whether that's CL for oil. So you have all of those options on the table. And remember, these are the futures contracts. So that's going to be like buying yeah, one to maybe three. I don't know. Depends on the account size, I guess. But you're buying lots like that. You can also buy. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's just about what's offered in the future side of things. With CFDs, you can trade a lot of things that I am not super. This is actually one area that I'm not super familiar with all of the different assets. I know that you can
Mhm.
trade Forex. That's correct, right?
Yeah,
Pairs. I know
yeah.
you can trade like NAS 100. So I think
Mhm.
those are those European equities or something. I'm not sure exactly
So
where
they're
that's.
kind of proxies for the futures contracts, right? And NAS 100 is a proxy for the MNQ or the NQ, etc. You have the SPX 500, which is the proxy for the S&P 500. And basically, so a few differences. First of all, one very, very important thing with futures is that you're going to get consistent pricing and data across all platforms. So the price you're going to see on Black Arrow is the same one you're going to see on Ninja Trader. It's the same one you're going to see on Trading View, et cetera, et cetera. There's no issue with spreads and things like that because all of the volume is coming from the same from the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, or the CBOT. So that's one thing that, for example, for me, I really value is that I'm not going to get different pricing on different exchanges.
Right.
The other thing is you are so with CFDs, contract for differences, you're kind of trading what I would say proxies. So you're not trading the actual contracts when we're talking about futures and stuff like that. Whereas with futures, you're trading the actual contract. And the other thing I like with futures is you have built-in leverage. So when you're buying one one MNQ contract risking $2 a point, the notional value of the contract is much higher. So you get that extra leverage, which can be oh yeah, we're taking off.
Strong.
Which can be a good and a bad thing. A bad thing because it's a lot riskier, but a good thing is you can make a lot of profit very quickly with very small moves.
Mm.
So these are some of the main differences. But the real value for me is you don't have the issue of spreads. Of even though the Fivers has the best spreads in the industry, but you don't have the issue of spreads with futures. You get extremely, extremely tight spreads, and with the volume and the pricing data, everything you're getting is centralized, so you're not going to get different pricing. So, for example, if you do your chart analysis on TradingView and then you do your trading on Black Arrow, well, you're going to get the exact same prices and volume data on both platforms. So I
Mm.
think these are the main differences
That's
that
a
I can
great
think
breakdown.
of.
So would you say it's fair to say if you're primarily a futures trader, definitely go with the future side. Otherwise, if you're into the forex stuff, consider the CFDs there, but
You,
unless
you
you're
could, yeah, but here's the thing: there are futures for forex as well. So let me just switch to trading view. Right here, I have the 6A, which is a contract for the Australian dollar, the 6B, which is the British pound, 6C, which is Canadian.
wow,
So you could trade all the currencies with futures contract as well. You have the 6E, which is the Euro FX,
euro looks weak.
uh,
Short it.
uh, the Japanese yen, the Swiss franc. So we on the future side, we also have all of these currencies, and you could trade them as well. We also have micro Bitcoin, and then all the weird ones. So copper, corn, heating oil.
Oh, the classic, yeah. Just noting, I just want to note really quick, you were flipping through all those currencies. They all looked weak, the pairs, which means the dollar is
Yeah,
strong. And I am
the
seeing a big top wick on Qs at the range that we were watching. I'm not saying that it's going to break down, but just wondering if the dollar strength is well, I think it is definitely something worth watching here. But interesting action there. And sorry to interrupt there. I want to hear more
no,
about you.
it's fine.
I didn't know you could trade that.
Yeah, you can trade all of these things.
That's
And
wild.
just watching a bunch of stuff at the same time. Man, look at the dollar. Okay. Yeah, there's so many futures contracts. I mean, if you go on the CME, and I'm yet to know all of them.
Mm.
There's just a bunch of them. And then there's a gold contract that came out recently, which is called the 1 ounce. So you're, instead of, with gold, with the standard contract, you're risking $100 a point. With the micros, you're risking $10 a point. With the 1 ounce, you're only risking $1 a point, and they made it specifically for retail. So you if you want to take smaller risk, you could trade that one. And I'm trying a bunch of on my brokerage accounts. I'm trying a bunch of new strategies, so hedging and stuff like that with that contract, because
That's
I
really
could
cool.
I could take small risk and try stuff.
So this is a
So
great question that I have, and I don't know the answer. So is that that's within terms of service, for example, to be long gold with the GC contract and then hedge with the ounces?
I don't know. I haven't looked into that, but I'm doing it with I'm doing it with multiple accounts.
Got you.
So there's no risk of me,
Okay.
infringing any laws.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just wanted to put that out there for people. I don't know Fiverr's specific terms on this, but there are some.
Oh, sorry. You can't do that with the Fivers. I'm doing
Okay.
that with a brokerage account,
Okay. Okay.
not
Just
my prop account.
I didn't want to say 100% because I didn't know.
No, no,
That
no,
was
no, no, no.
how I was
Yeah,
feeling.
you definitely cannot do that with a prop firm. No, you
Right,
can't.
because then you're kind of playing both sides on just
Yeah,
one
exactly.
figure. So that's
Yeah,
one way that and the idea there is that if you're getting this leverage on a futures account, it should be because you've proved yourself trading, not because you've done some kind of martingale type thing, buying and
yeah,
selling accounts,
exactly.
and putting them against each other and all of that. That's not, because the whole idea is that if you do it the right way, well then that shows us that hey,
You
you
could
you
trade.
are you are a valued trader. You're going to keep making money. We're going to maybe copy those trades because you're a good trader. X, Y, and Z. It's about sustainability, not lucking your way into it. So
Exactly,
just
exactly,
explaining the
exactly.
why of those rules. It's not just a Fivers thing. That's like every
Yeah, it's every prop firm out there. No, you
that's
could
why I'm
definitely
like, whoa. Yeah,
go short gold and long on the Nasdaqs, things like that.
yeah,
Different contracts, but you can't be long and short gold at the same time. So no, I just want to take this question before we keep moving. Tuba saying you just blew two accounts on the Fivers because you're so unfamiliar with that. Well, if you're coming from the CFD side, the thing you need to be aware of is the size of the contracts and how much you're risking per point. So the easiest one to understand is the ES or the MES.
yeah.
So we'll take the MES because it's smaller. You're risking $5 per point. Um, I don't even need to get into ticks, so it's 4 ticks, but let's just keep it at points so it's easier for you to understand. So basically, every time the contract moves 1 point, so basically $1, if it goes from 170 to 171, you're risking $5 for every contract that you have, right?
Right.
So when you're taking a trade, so let me just switch to Black Arrow so you could see, and then I'll switch to well, we could do it on the Nasdaq actually because it's $2 a point. So if I put a trade on right there, so if I put a limit order at 27,255, right? I could click on this and it's going to show me. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm risking 50 points from 27,255 to 27,205. So there's a distance of 50 points from here to here, right? And now you just multiply by 2, then that means I'm risking 100 points, right?
Right.
So if this moves 50 points, then I'll make $100. Sorry, not 100 points. Um, and that's the leverage we're talking about. We don't need a huge move to make money. And then, of course, if you buy 2 contracts, then you double it. It's $200.
Mhm.
So the good thing about Black Arrow is you could see how many points you're risking. You could switch and see in dollar terms how much you're risking. So here it's $100, and you could preset that in the brackets here.
Yeah.
So very, very good, interesting feature, man. Talk about seeing a setup and missing it.
It's tough though, because you were saying it might be the pullback into that yellow line, but then it undercuts it, and you're going, well, if this is a higher low, I would not have taken it, to be honest. I
Yeah.
would not have taken it unless I had identified the divergence earlier, got in then, and then I would have been biased because of I'm in a position. I'll be the first to admit you're gonna be biased if you're in a position, right? So then
Yeah,
I would
definitely.
have said, oh, Dave, I think that's a higher low. I think that's valid. But realistically, no, I didn't think so. So I that would have got me too, man. That would have got me
No, it's fine.
9
It's
out of 10
fine.
times, I think.
It's fine. I should have kept my. I was so. I think it was that gold trade that influenced
Mhm.
me. And I was like, man, I need to get that short. I missed the
Yeah.
short on gold. And then, but you were good. Your call out was good. You were like, man, this is the entry right here when we retested that high, and yeah, that was a possible good entry. We had another one there, but it is what it is. Look at that hourly candle. Wow,
Yeah.
this is nice.
And hey, it's always probabilities. I
Of
the one
course,
thing that I wanna be is humble because I don't it was a good chance, that's all.
yeah,
No fortune telling, you know?
yeah. No, no, great, great, good catch there. I didn't think. Here's the other thing. I didn't think we were gonna get so directional
Right.
today, right?
Yeah, like,
It
'cause
looks like
what
these
is it
days we
telling
just
us?
we just don't move at all, or we just take off. And
Dave? Because honestly, this is, like, the spookiest thing. Like, I will be honest. There's 2 ways that this can go, and either way, it's tough to play. Either we get lockout rally, the market's front running
Mhm.
bullishness. They want to get in before these earnings happen, before Powell speaks.
Yeah,
Or they are, I will say, manipulating liquidity, not in a conspiratorial way, but just in a way of, hey, if they want to take it down, they're expecting bearishness later in the day. Well, if that bearishness isn't coming till later in the day, then it makes sense to move the tape up to get a
tape
better
up. Yeah,
entry for the short you're expecting.
yep.
So which is going to happen? I don't know. I don't have the minutes. I don't have the inside info, but it makes me nervous when Qs are running up to. This is why I also, even when I'm trading futures, I do like to watch these the equity levels because Qs on the cam pivots that's trading right over 660, 660.75 right now. But this 660 to 661 is going to be the big pivot where we could find sellers. So when you combine that with the time pivot of, well, if we're looking at this from a 30-minute, like we're playing 30-minute sessions here, or maybe an hour is better. So we went, 30 minutes is good. We went down for 30 minutes. We went down for another 15, then big reversal there. Tried to go down
Hmm.
for 15, then big reversal. Tried to go down for 15, big push up.
Yep, big reversal.
But I'm starting to think about the day in two halves now. So as we get closer to the second half, I mean, man, that's such a nice 4-hour candle though. So I don't want to
Oof,
bet
yeah.
against this, but I'm just it's spooky because either they lock us out, just like they did on the 1-minute chart. They locked us out of this trade, Dave. They didn't give us the nice high or low down here or
Yeah,
something.
they didn't. They
So
they made us think about it. They stayed right smack dab in the middle there, and
oh,
they didn't reveal the hand, and then it took off. So it is what it is.
I
Um,
wonder if we take this range, the opening range. Yeah, that's so tough because they don't give us the 50% pullback, and that's what I was really looking for. That's what I always look for.
yeah.
But that is, I think that is a sign, right? That like, man, well, what am I even saying? It's a sign of the strength that we just saw. So yeah, it makes sense, but I don't know how much I can infer from this point. And that's just extra tough because it's like, all right, well, now what the heck do we do?
Well,
Right.
now we watch and wait.
Mhm.
That's what I'm doing.
I like it.
Because yeah, I didn't. The read is not great there, so we'll see. The last thing I want to say, by the way, just quick side note to Tuba is, you blew up two accounts. It's fine. You didn't fully understand. Know that there is actually a simulator with the Black Arrow, so maybe test out your strategies in the simulator before you do it on the prop account. So you're gonna see it's gonna say. Let me just switch my screen really quickly. You're going to see here when you open it, it's going to say simulator in red, and you could probably test out your strategies with this first before you. So you basically select the account you want to trade with, and then test out your strategies before you take it with the actual prop account. So you can try that.
Yeah, that's great. And one other thing that I'd really recommend in that simulator, get really comfortable with using bracket orders or OCO orders. I'm
Yeah,
not sure what they're referred to in Black Arrow off the top of my head, but the idea is that when you take a trade, you should know your exit and your entry. And Dave's great about talking about this live. He says, "Hey, all right, this is where I'm looking, but if it gets over here, I got my hard stop." I heard him saying, "I got my hard stop. I also monitoring this level." So
yeah,
you're thinking like, "Hey, what happens if I'm wrong, and how much is that actually going to hurt?" Because so many
exactly.
traders, they only think about how much money can I make if I'm right, and they don't
Nah,
really factor in, well, yeah, but we're all going to be wrong. So
we're gonna be wrong. We're gonna be
yeah,
whan a lot of times,
yeah.
and
And Dave, he's no newbie. He's no slouch. And today was a really good example of I, two, I think, good traders just not having a good read because there's not a clear read,
yeah,
and sometimes that's the name of the game. And I'll even go a little further. I'm sure a lot of traders saw something with for their system this was valid and they caught this and awesome for you. That's and I mean that genuinely, not not
no,
passive.
of course,
But if you don't see it and it doesn't work, then for me, no trade. Or like Dave says, sometimes you got to wet your feet and just get comfortable with being a little bit wrong.
yeah,
I think that's another big reason why a lot of people blow accounts, that they just try to like stay right. So just I would really love uh, any new traders that are struggling with this to start using those bracket orders and just own up right at the start of the trade. Hey, this is what I'm gonna risk. This is what I'm gonna. Let's see. We can even do it. Say, hey, I'm gonna buy long off VWAP off this level that we talked about. I'm gonna risk the low of the day. Whoop. I'm gonna risk the low of the day, and my target is, say I'm bullish. Well, I think we test up here at the very least. So that's good risk reward, you know?
yep,
And you can do this and be wrong 50% of the time and still make money, still pass that account. You just gotta make sure that you're not getting dragged when you don't need to, and move those goalposts and say, well, like if Dave was less disciplined, he might still be in this short and just
of
praying,
course.
and that's where you get hurt because
And
right
yeah,
now.
and I don't know if the traders caught that, but I got out before. I took a 30-point loss instead of the 50 points I was willing to risk. Why? Because the trade just wasn't working.
I
Um
I love that because sometimes you need to trust the stop, right? But if you know deep in your heart of hearts, well, what I was looking for is not playing out. How I look at it is, hey, all right, so I took the trade. I think it's 60, 70% probability or whatever. I get a bad candle. Like pretty soon
mhm.
after we were talking about it, looks good. Like it's a big green candle. Okay, well now the probabilities are more like 50 or
Yeah,
45 or 40, and I'm keeping a tally on my head. Oh, another big candle. Well, yeah, I'm still 20 points away from my stop, but now this is like a 30% likelihood of winning. Would I take
exactly.
this trade right now? No. So I'll just conserve my capital. That's how I kind of
Exactly.
look at it.
Exactly. I mean, we could look at the trade again and clarify it in retrospect, but um So I have my executions there. What we talked about, two ideas this morning. We talked about a long idea and a short idea, and they were very similar, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
we had the structure here, and we said, okay, if we want to go long, we want to look for a pullback into the upper end of the opening range
Mhm.
for a move higher, right?
Yeah.
And I expected this to be a lot more aggressive. So basically, the move we're getting here, if we're going to be bullish, I expected this to happen around here. So that was setup number one for the bullish side. The bear trade, the short trade, we said, okay, we have that structure. We need to kind of break this little trend
Mhm.
that we formed here, retest, which is exactly what
Yep.
happened, and go lower. Now, since I was being very patient at the beginning, I didn't see follow through. What sometimes happen is you will go and you will retest higher. That's
Mhm.
what I was expecting. So as I saw, okay, we get a bigger candle here, and then we're moving, but we're moving slowly. We're getting red candles, red candles. We're seeing the wicks up, and we're seeing volume slowly decreasing. I was like, okay, I saw a red print, we got in there. But as soon as I got in, we started seeing green prints and increase in volume again. So the idea was, well, maybe we need to get stronger wicks at that same level. That's why my stop was above this area here. And then once we just kept on printing green and didn't get any rejection, I didn't wait to go to get out all the way up here. I got out here. Why? Because I'm wrong, and because of the way I trade. Usually, if I'm right, I'll be right immediately. So I'll
Yeah.
enter the trade, and a couple candles later, I'll be in profit or at least break even. And if
And
it's not working immediately for a scalp, this is not a position, this is not a swing trade. I mean, it
mhm.
should work immediately. And if it's not, then you just get out and reevaluate. And when you find another setup, you get in.
Dave, it's so important for scalpers, right? Because if we move the goalposts and turn this scalp into a swing, we're just literally throwing our accounts up to the
Yeah,
gods and saying
yeah.
we take the leverage for a quick move, but it's not working, so now we're just gonna take our hands off the keyboard. That's not responsible.
Nah,
That's
nah.
hoping and praying. So yeah,
Exactly.
really
The
good
other
stuff.
thing you don't want to do as a scalper also is which I've fallen into that trap many times. Be taking too many trades, expecting everything to be a setup, right?
Yeah.
So I could have shorted here, and then I could have shorted here, and then I could have said, oh no, that's the trade, and then I could have shorted here again. That would have been one, two, three, four losses in what,
Mhm.
20 minutes.
Yeah, just being stubborn, right? Those
Yeah,
patience.
just being stubborn and saying, "Oh no, I just haven't found it yet." And guess what? You would have been losing all the way up.
Even here, it
So
looks to me like a double
yeah,
top two into the cam pivot, but until we lose that little previous red swing down there and then back test and maybe give an entry there, this is still just testing the 21-minute moving average in an uptrend and could easily trade sideways for 5, 10 minutes and then push on higher.
exactly.
Skin the next round of could be Dave's if Dave wasn't smart, right?
But yeah,
Yeah, the
this
newer.
is this is you could be fooled, and that's why you always have to zoom out. You could be fooled that, oh no, we've double top here. This is a short setup, and you could be saying, oh no, I'm going to target the opening high or whatever, the opening print. But this, if you zoom out, this just at least to me a pullback in an uptrend, at least
Yeah.
for now.
Mhm.
So don't get fooled. Be patient, take your setups, respect your stops, and only that's how I try to do it. I'm only thinking about profit once I am in profit. Before then, I'm only thinking about managing the trade, right?
I love that.
So yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And like you're saying, don't get fooled because, like we said, oh, it's a double top. It's a 1 minute double top. Yeah, but in big picture, we just broke pre-market highs.
Yeah.
Oh, hanging out. So if we're expecting a change of trend and we have these things happening later in the day, why front run it? Why don't we wait until we see the sellers actually showing themselves? We're not seeing that yet, and there's no headline on the tape in the next 5 minutes or so. So no reason to short here. In my
No reason to short. If you're not in the long, no reason to chase either.
100%.
Wait for because that's the other thing. You could be I could have been wrong here and say, oh no, let me go long. Well, yeah, but where?
Right. And we could pull back here, maybe to the opening price, hang out for 10 minutes, push up again. We
Yeah,
could bid all the way through Jay Powell speaking, pushing up, 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 and then then when he stops, maybe we get a sell off, or
yeah,
maybe not. I don't even know. All I
yep,
know is that we're at a pivot point, and I'm not in a trade in profit, so there's nothing for me to protect. There's nothing for me to do unless we reject really hard, and then it's a scalp. So this is a really good day to just watch the price action in my book at this point.
exactly.
Also, I do see Tuba mentioning, I think my simulator account got expired. How to access that simulator account again? Can you, so Tuba, if you can get into your Black Arrow brokerage, then at the top there, like Dave showed, you should be able to switch to the
Yeah, so
simulator. Is that correct?
here, yeah, you
Yeah.
switch to the simulator, but he's saying it's expired. Well, you to have access to the simulator, you actually need an account.
Oh, I see.
I think so. If you don't have an account, then you won't be able to to trade. So you'll have to get an account and get the simulator, and then well, with Black Arrow, if you go on the Black Arrow website, you can get just an account with them, and I think you'll have access to a simulator for about 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I remember that as well. So definitely
so
check that
yeah,
out.
so check that out, and then as a last resort, you could always use TradingView as a reference. So you could go on TradingView, pick your, of course, your data is going to be delayed about 10 minutes. So you won't be able to take perfect trades there, but it can be a reference. But I get real time data because I pay for it. It's not too expensive. It's $7, but I do this semi professionally, so I need the real time data.
Of course, yeah.
But I didn't have real time data for the longest time, and you could use it, and then you'll be able to you go on the paper trading, and you can paper trade there and see the risk, etc. So yeah,
Absolutely. And if I may be so bold, let me know if I'm overstepping. But also trade the pool as well. If you're looking for equities, if you're looking for futures, 100% Fivers is your guy. But if you are just looking for equities, hey, maybe try out a simulation with trade the pool, because you can do that. Try it out, try it on for size. Both different systems though, so in terms of futures, there's nobody else I want to be with here. I really like the just the robustness of not just the broker. The broker's great, Black Arrow, but just the combination of that plus like actually a team that I can trust, a support system that's going to answer my questions if I have them. That's something
yep,
that it's not something you can take for granted for some of these companies. So
indeed,
yeah,
indeed,
just
yep.
much prayed to Fivers. But hey, if you just want equities, hey, come on over.
Hey, it's we're all the same family. So the Fivers Forex, the Fivers Futures, trade the pool. I mean, buy all the accounts. Get the
Yeah,
CFDs, get the Forex accounts, get the futures accounts, get the equities, and
yeah.
this way you could trade a whole portfolio of things.
And here's the
And
thing: we don't want you to just buy them and then fail them and buy them again. We want you to buy them and pass them, and
yeah,
then we want to grow with you guys, because that's one thing. The biggest boon for our company is getting good traders with us. Because
exactly.
when you're signing that deal, you're also saying, hey, if I'm a good trader, you're allowed to copy my trades, right? So that's how we make our real money,
Yep.
right? We don't want you to fail. We want you to win. And that's why we spend so much time on streams like this with educational content. And that's
Yeah.
that's why I love it here, because I get to
Exactly.
gap
We
and
we
trade.
we oh we get to talk about it. We get to show you the wins and the losses,
Mhm.
and you don't see any Ferraris here. You don't see any supercars and fake stuff. This is real trading with real traders showing you the reality of trading, the wins and the losses and the discipline. So
Yeah.
that's why we're here.
And the reality is, hey, the Lambo might be around the corner, but when
Yep.
we're in Lambo territory, probably the information we're giving out, it's not going to be free either. So take advantage of Dave on the come up here. You're catching a rising star before he's got the Lambo in the garage.
Watch
Take
out now.
advantage, guys. I'm telling you, I might seem like I'm kidding, but no, seriously, I truly believe. I mean, the teams that I'm excited to meet more of the Fivers team, but I know on the trade the pool side, and we're sister companies here, so that same ethos. We're
Yep.
all about getting really good traders, and it's so cool, just the knowledge base we're building. So guys, I'm telling you, take advantage because these guys, they're going to be on their yachts sooner or later, you know?
Yeah, driving those supercars.
Yes,
I don't know.
sir.
I'll probably get a very expensive Toyota or something.
So a 20-year-old Camry, yeah, those things are tanks.
Yeah,
I got my
indeed.
what 10-year-old Corolla, and it's
Nice.
I'm not wanting. I'm chilling.
Yeah, Corollas are awesome cars.
Yeah, the
Actually,
lane.
when you travel, if you go to, for example, I don't know, somewhere like the Dominican Republic,
Mhm.
all the cab drivers, they're all driving Corollas, and that tells you something, you know.
Everything from Detroit rusted on the side of the road 10 years ago.
But they're hanging in there. I mean, they're
Yeah.
great cars. You just
Oh
can't
yeah, no,
destroy them.
absolutely.
There's this video about this guy trying to destroy a Tacoma. I don't know if you've seen it, but you've seen that video. They
Is
just
that
do
the one where they
everything
do the
to it.
teardown next to the Cybertruck?
I don't know. No, it wasn't a Cybertruck. They were just
Like,
trying to destroy a Toyota, and they actually, the last take I think is them putting it on top of a building, and then it was a building they were gonna destroy.
yeah.
So they light up the fuse, it explodes and just goes down, and then the car still starts after that. It's
That's
insane.
insane. I was thinking in my head that sparked what I'm realizing is now like an 80s or 90s Toyota ad where they dropped it off like a sand dune or something. It was like 100 feet up, and it did the same thing. It
Wow.
started up.
Yeah.
But it's funny. Just yesterday, I was watching somebody was is about the Cybertruck. Some guy was doing a teardown on it, just like
Oh,
ripping
really?
everything off. But he had I think it was a F-150.
Oh, okay.
So not as good as a Tacoma even, but just in terms of like solid body welding and stuff, it's such a big difference. So at least
Yeah.
it's not a Cybertruck, but yeah, those Tacomas are bricks,
No,
crazy.
they're just bricks, especially the older models. I mean, they just last forever.
Oh, and I love it. They don't take
Um,
that much gas either, too. The ones with a smaller footprint. I love the old smaller cab trucks.
yeah. Yeah, and the bed is bigger as well, so
Oh wow, yeah. It's like
yeah.
why would you want a cyber? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'll just
I
play Halo.
mean,
I don't
look,
want to feel like
my
that.
take on the Cybertruck, especially when it just came out, I was like, man, this car is so ugly, it actually looks good. So
Yes. Yes, it's looks cool in the same way that like when I was like 13 it had like mall ninja knives or something was cool, you know?
yeah.
I don't know. Did see a really cool wrap though. It was like a cool matte wrap, and it looked like it was
Yeah, I see them
Warthog out
from
of
time to
Halo.
time.
You see that?
Nice. Yeah,
Like,
I haven't seen that one specifically, but I've seen a lot of cool wraps as well.
in
So
general, you have to
so
cover
yeah.
your entire car to make it look good. Though. Oh man.
Yeah. Before we're 3 minutes before the end of the stream, but I'm seeing this nice little pattern here that we might get a
Yeah.
break. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm wondering, maybe I take that second, maybe we try the breakout. That will be the second
Yeah.
trade, 2 trades a day. If this one works, it's good. Again, when we're talking about stops, my stop is the lowest candle here. This is a protective stop. I want to see the ticks, I mean the points.
Mhm.
And then as a target, this would be a quick scalp. So what you do is you measure the width of this, and
Nice.
then you're targeting more or less this area here. So if we get that, great. If it doesn't work out and I got in too early because it's about to be 11 o'clock and I just bought the top, then this is not my day.
Sometimes it's like that,
What
man.
what
That
could
was me.
happen
Sorry. You were
No,
saying?
it's fine. What could happen is we could get a push lower, and then buyers really step in here, and then we get a reversion to the upside. But we could also, Steve and I have been talking about that longer term pullback where it gets sold here, and then they kind of rebuy it at that
Mhm.
previous high around VWAP, which would be probably a better trade. So if that happens, great. I've just been seeing so much strength here,
Yeah.
feeling a little bit of FOMO. I see a setup that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we'll take it. If it
I like
works, it works. If it doesn't, then it doesn't.
Yeah, it's minimal risk, especially if you get in on like, that little red that looked a little scary, but now it looks pretty good. Maybe we get one more little candle down. I don't know. It's like you said.
See,
Hope it works, and if it
no,
doesn't, that's
if it's fine, it's within my risk parameters, so that trade won't. I'm only risking previous profit, so we're good.
Beautiful. One thing that I just want to focus on too is like you guys might not see it in the comments on any one day where it's like, oh, we're trying it, it's not working. We're trying it, it's not working. It only takes one or two if you're disciplined with your stops to make back three, four, five,
Yeah.
six losses. So that's the real name of the game, and that's why me and Dave we're pretty stoic about it. We're pretty chill. We've taken a lot of losses, and it's all part of making a lot of money.
Man,
So
is there a bigger word for a lot?
hmm. Yeah, like
Anyway,
I've taken a catastrophic number of non-catastrophic losses. How
there
about
you
that?
go. I
Not
love that.
catastrophic,
I
but
love that. I love that. I love that.
it would have been a blow up many times if I didn't keep on practicing. So, another good question from Tuba here, by the way. What is the max loss on futures? Is it always 3% from initial deposit? I want to
Yeah,
say,
it's a 3% drawdown, 3% end of day. So it's a trailing drawdown, and every day it gets calculated based on your highest PNL. I mean,
which is great.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, which is great.
You don't want it. You
So
don't want it to let you give back all of your profits from a week or two before it says, "Hey, you should chill." You're not going
yeah.
to go well.
So yeah, it's still 3%.
And
So there you
correct
go
me if I'm
there.
wrong. The target is 6%.
The target is,
I
man.
thought it was double the
Yeah.
loss on the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, is it
Actually,
total?
you're making me hesitate.
Sorry.
Let's I
Yeah,
have a
double
blank here.
check for me.
I'm
That's
staring at
pretty
the trade. I'm
interesting
gonna
from
double
what I.
check, but yeah, let's go into here. Fivers.com futures, and here are the programs. Yes, target is 6%, max loss end of day 3%, consistency is 30%, and that's per position. It's not per day, so you could pass the challenge in one day. And then the pricing is a one-time fee, so it's not a monthly fee like a lot of other competitors. So you pay, for example, for a 25K base camp, you pay that $50, and that's just, you could take 2 weeks to pass, 2 days to pass, 2 months to pass, 2 years to pass, whatever.
That's so
So it's a
great
one-time
too,
fee. Yeah.
because a lot of the business models of these firms, the ones that don't really want you to succeed as much, they really make a lot of their turnover on that monthly where it's like, oh man, I got to really do trades that are outside of my comfort zone or my risk tolerance
Yeah.
to meet this timing. So this just it really goes to show where management's heads at. Like they don't want you to just get destroyed. They want you to learn and do it right and then start making money for everybody. So
Exactly.
yeah, good stuff there for
So
sure.
yeah. All right, guys. Well, it seems like it's going to be 0 for 2 today. I think I just bought the top. So, on that note, we're going to end the stream. And I'll see you tomorrow. I can't have great days every day like yesterday. So,
Fair.
you guys, you need to know that it's real. All right, guys. Take care. Thank you, Steve. And I'll see you soon.
Sounds great. Thanks, Dave.
All right. Bye.